So I want to talk about turning. When you're, and I'm going to show some examples here in a second, but I want to talk about it first. The MSF course teaches slow, look, press, and roll, and that's basically so like when you're coming up and you're approaching your corner, you slow down, roll off the throttle, apply the brakes, slow down, look through your corner, and in this example here from right here, I'd be looking right at the edge of the road, right where it hits off into the tree line. And then you press your handlebars in the direction that you want to go and roll onto the throttle. Now, once you've opened the throttle, you do not close the throttle throughout the remainder of the turn because you don't want to upset the balance of your bike. And I'll show you, I'll kind of show off that as an example as well. But what we mean by that, by roll, is when you open your throttle, you want to open it and just hold it open. It's called maintenance throttle. You're not adding throttle and you're not taking away. You're just kind of holding it open to carry yourself through the turn. And once you see the exit of your turn and your motorcycle is pointed in the direction you want to go, then you roll onto the throttle and accelerate out of the turn. And that will the acceleration act will help stand your motorcycle vertical and drive you out of the corner. When you brake, when we're talking about the slow part of it, when we're braking, we brake before the turn. You can brake in the turn, but there's a way to do it and a way not to do it. When you're in the turn and you apply your brakes, it's going to cause your motorcycle to stand up and go and straighten out. So if you're actively turning, you will stop turning. I can also show examples of that as well. So you just have to remember that and account for that whenever you're planning the path that you're going to take through your corner. Of if something happens and I need to slow down, you want to leave yourself enough room so that you're not going to run off the road. And you kind of take that and you gradually work your way up till you can do it faster and faster and faster to a point where when you're riding the speed limit on the road, the only slowing down that you really will have to do, with exceptions, marked corners that say, speed limit, sharp corner, 15 miles an hour or whatever. But for example, this road in here is 45. And pretty much all of the corners on this road can be taken at 45 without slowing down. If you do them right. So I'm going to show some examples of how to actually go through a corner, what braking in a corner looks like, upsetting the balance of the motorcycle, things like that. So when we're riding, just assume we're doing the speed limit here, maybe a little less. When you approach your corner, we slow, look, press, and then roll when the bike is pointed in the direction we want to go. So we're cruising, doing about 40. Slow, look, press, roll. Slow, look, we're pressing. And then we accelerate. Now, the speed with which you need to take how much lean angle you actually need depends on a variety of factors. It depends on how fast you're going, the road conditions, the angle of the turn, and what bike you ride. Different bikes are going to take will take the same turn at the same speed differently. Some bikes can take a turn at one speed while another can't. It just physically can't. In the case of this turn, you kind of want to start more towards the outside because it is a really steep turn, to give yourself that room when you go to cut in. You're not going to run out of space. So see, we can go through this corner real slow and I don't have to lean at all. See, we're well below the speed limit at 25 miles an hour, and I'm looking all the way through the turn, holding my throttle, and my bike has no lean angle whatsoever, right? Because I'm only doing 25. As I increase my speed, in order to carry that speed through the corner, I have to lean more. I'm going to turn back around and show you that same corner again, where you can kind of get some consistency. So right as we go into our corner, right here, our right-hand turn, we can see, ooh, it looks kind of sharp. We'll just go ahead and slow down and take the corner at a pace. And we can examine and look. Okay, the road looks nice and clean. There's a stick right there on the edge. Looks to be in good condition. This, you know, the first time we go through it. You can take that corner a little faster, but we slow down before the corner to avoid any unwanted balance disruptions. So if we're going through our corner, we're leaned over. I don't even want to do this. Oh God. See how chopping the throttle kind of like changes the trajectory of the bike? I wasn't really going fast enough for it to be as dramatic because it's kind of scary. See how the trajectory changes? It kind of dives you in more, because what's happening is when you let go of the throttle, all of the weight dives to the front end and gives the front tire more traction, which essentially, I'm not turning around here. When the front tire has more traction, it makes it easier for it to turn. Yeah, lean angle and how hard you need to push and how much you need to push, that's all determined by how fast you're going and how sharp the corner is. And if you don't know how sharp the corner is, well, don't go fast around it. It's pretty fucking simple. And if you get scared in the corner and you're like, oh God, I'm not gonna make it, make sure you're looking deep through the corner. Don't fixate on something not through the corner. Look all the way through. Hold. Accelerate. Look nice, deep. And that's not to say either that you can't adjust your line while you're in the turn. So long as you're not going absolutely flat out using the maximum amount of lean angle that your bike has, you can adjust in the turn. Once you start turning, you can turn more. Just don't do two things at the same time. Don't turn and accelerate at the same time. Turn, then accelerate if you need to. Turn, then brake. It's all about doing things consecutively rather than on top of each other. So I'm holding an open throttle. While I'm holding an open throttle, I'm going to lean. I'm not doing two things at once. I'm not adding anything together. Add lean, less lean, more throttle. If you add something, you have to take away from it as well. There's funky shit right here, I remember. I know that it's probably kind of hard to see, you know, when I say push, what I'm doing exactly, like push, like, it's kind of, you can't really feel what I'm doing, you know, for yourself. But I'm effectively just holding constant pressure in one direction. You push and then you don't stop pushing, like you hold it, like you don't continue to push, you push and then hold the entire way through the corner. I'm gonna, like right here, I'm gonna push and hold. Push, hold, I'm holding, I'm holding, I'm holding, I'm holding, I'm holding. And then as you go through, you can decide, okay, do I need to push more and turn sharper, or push less and straighten out? Like right here, we're gonna push, hold. It looks like it's gonna tighten up and I'm gonna have to push a little harder. Hold. And this is the speed limit. Push, hold. Push, hold. Let out a little bit. Come back in. We can adjust. Leave yourself that room to adjust. If you're riding so fast, and this is kind of the unpopular opinion, but I'll be the one to say it, if you're riding so fast that you don't have any room to adjust on the street, you're probably riding too fast. See, as I'm following this truck, the angle of these turns isn't super steep for what the speed limit is, or even for what this truck's doing. So like, following behind him, I don't really have to employ a whole lot of cornering techniques to be able to make it through a lot of these corners that we're going around, because they're not really sharp. I can just kind of sit in one lane position, hold my throttle in one spot, and just go throughout the entire thing. You don't even really have to outside, inside, outside, or any of that, or, you know, no body positioning or anything. You can just kind of sit in the middle of the lane through the whole corner because of the speed that we're going. It's only when you like start adding in more speed and going faster that you have to start employing these techniques in, you know, such as trail braking and you know, picking an optimal line through the corner. If you're not going that fast, your line doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter. And at these speeds, because we're not really using a lot of lean angle, we have a whole lot of room for error as far as what we can do maneuverability wise should something happen. You know, road conditions should change, or maybe this truck forgets how to drive, and the speed we're going, we can adapt to that. You know, we can hit the brakes, slow down, we can hit the gas, accelerate, you know, we can go left, right, you know, it doesn't really matter, because I'm not laid all the way over into a corner and having to make a decision to, oh crap, let's turn in harder, and oh wait, I'm already at max lean angle, I can't turn in more. My only solution is to slow down and go wide, or, well, hold into the, you know, hold that lean angle, which could spell disaster depending on the situation. Never maximum anything. Always leave yourself room for error. So like what I'll do to practice turns is I'll find a parking lot. You don't really want to practice it on the road, because, you know, if you fuck up on the road, well, you fuck up on the road. If you fuck up in a parking lot, well, you're right here. Our local park has this awesome, like, big, nice, flat, clean, square section that they use as a parking lot. So I'll come out here, and you basically like pick a reference point and use that as like the center of your curve and ride circles around it, and that will give you kind of an idea and a feel of what you can do with your lean angle and speed, and how that all kind of like plays in with each other. So just in first gear, I can kind of sit here and get going, and as long as I hold even outward pressure to the left and an even, you know, a nice smooth throttle where I'm just holding maintenance throttle, I'm not accelerating, I'll get a nice clean perfect circle that doesn't change. Now you can modify this once you're holding a certain speed at a certain angle and you're just kind of rolling with it in one way. Like I said, you can apply the brakes in the middle of your corner, and this is what it does right here. I'm going to come around and squeeze, and you see how it puts me upright and almost takes me completely out of it. Practice that. Just cut in, slow look, press roll, get going in a nice smooth consistent circle, and squeeze those brakes, and you'll see it just picks you up and carries you straight. It's the same thing with accelerating. Accelerating will do the same thing. I'm going to come in, I'm going to curve, I'm pushing left, holding, and as I accelerate, the bike stands up. You never want to just jump on it while you're in a turn, because that's how you low side. You know, if you're leaned over and you goose it, you see how it kind of bounces the bike. See, when you do this, you're bouncing the bike forward and backwards and upsetting the balance. And as you can see, the turn is kind of all over the place. This is why you don't on off with it. It just doesn't make for good smooth cornering. Slow look, press, roll,
We're just gonna hold all the way through our corner, no matter how tight it is. If it tightens up, we can tighten up our corner more by either slowing down a little bit. So I've slowed down, I've reduced my speed. And by reducing my speed, I tighten the turn up. Might increase my angle a little bit. But because I do this, I know how much I can lean and how much I can't, how tight I can turn and at what speeds. You see, the faster I go, at the same lean angle, I have to make it significantly wider to go through a turn at that same lean angle. So it all kind of, it's a delicate balance between your speed, the lean angle, and the radius of the turn. And you have to practice with it. And this is how you do it. You literally find you a parking lot that's nice and perfectly flat, and you go and practice in it. You just sit and you cut fucking turns. You can even put a cone up for a reference point if you need. But then when you get to a certain point, box yourself in. Try to do your turn as fast as you can through. Try to do your circle as fast as you can while maintaining the integrity of the circle. So stay in the circle and try to hold it. And that'll help with not only your throttle control, but corner confidence as well. We're nice and loose on our arms, maintaining steady throttle, holding nice outside pressure. And that's it. And you just do that. Just do that, experiment with that, play with that, cut a turn, hit the brakes, stand it up. You should practice braking in a turn anyways. It's a skill that'll save your life. If you go into a corner too fast, have the skills to hit the brakes, back out, and then dive back into it. And then we're gonna skedaddle